I'm John Quigley, President and CEO of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. For 100 years and counting, we've promoted an environment that creates success for local businesses and our community. Nearly 600 members strong, we are the voice of business in Elmhurst at all levels of government and a liaison to our residents, consumers, and tourists.
Since 1982.
1981.
1993.
1948.
Since 1955.
1892.
1991.
Since 1986.
1871.
We're here to help our customers' lives go right.
We put our customers and community first.
And innovation and relocation for 2 generations.
Serving our community more than just great meals.
We create innovation in glass and metals.
We permanently solve your IRS problems.
4 generations of family dedication, forever invested in you.
We keep families rolling safely down the road.
For generations, we've helped students reach their full potential.
4 generations of serving the best Bohemian cuisine.
Make that 5.
So make today the day that you become a valued addition to our award-winning chamber, whether as a new member or via reactivation. Contact our office by phone at 630-834-6060 or email info@elmhurstchamber.org to learn about what's in it for you. Be a part of our next 100 years.
Have you heard of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation? Its purpose is to provide support through advocacy, education, and fundraising for the Elmhurst History Museum, our local Elmhurst history, and the Churchville one-room schoolhouse. Established in 2007 as a nonprofit organization, we initiated an endowment fund and raised funds to complete the renovation of the historic Churchville Schoolhouse. We conducted a capital campaign to develop the new exhibit, by all accounts, the story of Elmhurst, at the History Museum, and we continue to provide financial support to enhance exhibits, programs, and events at the museum. Yes, we feel strongly about our mission and encourage you to become a member or donor of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation. Please call or go to our website for more information to learn about the benefits of becoming a member or donor by investing in our town, our history, our heritage.
Hi, and welcome to Community Conversations. Thank you so much for braving the weather. We're so happy to see all of you with your smiling faces. My name is Cathy Jordan. I am the chair for the Elmhurst Senior Commission, and I want to share with you the two presentations that we have today. I think you're really going to thoroughly enjoy. Before we start, I would like to introduce or share with you the people who help make these programs possible. We have commissioners who are downstairs, and one of the commissioners is Grayson Haller. He's in the back. We have Cathy Lorenz. She's our education chair. We have Ruth Maple. She's our transportation chair. And then there is Peggy LaCicero. And all of these people, you know, are very dedicated to helping make things happen in the community for seniors. I also would like to thank Mayor Morley and the City Council for their support for everything that we do to help enhance everything that we have here in the community for older adults. Without further ado, I would like to share with you our presenter today. The title is Money Smart for Older Adults. It is being presented by Andrea Pokrefke, and she is the Vice President for the Branch Manager for Suburban Bank and Trust. And she'll be sharing with us how we can, smart money, meaning fraud, scams. I think we're all used to that. I don't know about you, but I get tons of phone calls, and I get very irritated with that, with people wanting to have the little bit of money that I have. So without further ado, I would like to present Andrea, who is going to be giving us our presentation today.
Thank you, Cathy. I'm going to use the, okay. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, great. I want to thank Cathy Jordan again and the DuPage Senior Citizens Council, as well as the City of Chicago, for allowing me to come out and talk to you a little bit about protecting yourself online and protecting yourself from scams and things, because we've all gotten robo-phone calls, we've gotten a lot of things, and in this day and age with online security, we have to make sure that we're really prepared ourselves. Not only to know what kind of scams are out there, but also how to protect yourself and how to handle it when you are a victim of scam. I don't profess to be a guru or an expert at online accounts, but I've been in the banking industry for 20 years, and I have seen firsthand what happens to people when they come in and they have been victimized. So today I will be sharing information provided by the National Cybersecurity Alliance at their website, staysafeonline.org, and from the FDIC Money Smart program. Both are very excellent resources. I have also provided a copy of the PowerPoint presentation for you in your handout, as well as a lot of valuable information that I might not be able to cover all this information in the presentation, but that you can walk away with the resources at hand. So the internet is a wonderful and marvelous thing. Who would have thought 25 years ago that we would have such access that we have now? Back 25 years ago, we were thinking the future was going to look like in episodes of the Jetsons. But as technology has changed our lives and the way we do things, it's also opened the door for a lot of new types of crime. Today's cyber criminals are very smart and they're sophisticated. So just as we protect ourselves in our everyday life, we need to be alert and aware of the threats out there in order to protect ourselves online. So first I'm going to talk about the two most common and widespread types of fraud, and that is spam and phishing. Who here knows what spam and phishing is? We've heard those terms before. Well, cyber criminals have become quite savvy in their attempts to lure people in and to get you to give them your personal financial information. So, malicious email. This is, who here does not have an email account? Okay. So a malicious email can look just like it comes from a financial institution, an e-commerce site, a government agency, or any other service. It often urges you to act quickly, because your account has been compromised and your order cannot be fulfilled or there's another urgent matter to discuss. If you are unsure whether an email is legitimate, we need to try these next 2 steps. The first is contact the company directly. When you contact the company directly, you want to make sure that you're using information that is not contained in the email that you received. Because if you call the number in the email, you're calling the scammer. If you go to the website and the link, you're calling the scammer. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you're going to their official information, and you can get a lot of that information if you just Google the company. Attachments and links are the 2 things that are the most risk when you're dealing with emails. 25% of users will click a link if they think that this email is from a friend and they trust it. So a lot of our emails get hacked these days, and we receive a lot of emails from people that we think we know. You know, I know this person, they're sending me an email, but a lot of these emails may have misspelled words or language that's not exactly clear English. And so these are very good points to look at, because a lot of malicious hacking email is coming from overseas. They're not as familiar with our language. And so if you get an email that grammar is incorrect, it just looks strange, most likely it is. Delete the email, call your friend and say, hey, I got this strange email, did you send it? Most times they don't even know it happened. So don't click on any of those links in the email. Another thing that comes in emails are your attachments. So we'll talk a little bit about attachments going forward, but again, when you click on an attachment, most likely that email is going to download some spyware onto your computer. So if you're not expecting the email, it looks strange, just delete it, call your friend, let her know you got it, so that she can look into maybe changing her password or anything like that. So some examples of some words or phrases that come through these emails are, we suspect an unauthorized transaction on your account. To ensure that your identity is not compromised, please click on the below link and provide us your updated information. Again, there's that link. During our regular verification of accounts, we couldn't verify your information. Click here and update your information. Don't do it. Or our records indicate that your account was overcharged. You must call us within 7 days to get your refund. Here's the phone number, call us. You call that number, they're going to say, oh, well, give us your account information so we can process your refund. If you didn't purchase it, or it could be that you have an Amazon and you purchased something 2 months ago. If you didn't purchase something recently, don't call the number. Okay, spam. Spam is the first and most frequent of the 2 types of malicious email. Despite our attempts to filter out unwanted email, spam still remains a significant challenge for all of our organizations. While ordinary spam is simply considered a nuance, spam is also frequently used to deliver malware. There are certain ways that you can protect yourself from spam. You can enable filters through your email provider, or you can report spam. So a lot of those of us who have like Google is a good instance. In your email, you can open the email. That's fine. It's when you click on a link or download an attachment that becomes the problem. So if you open an email and you see, this doesn't look right, I don't think this is legitimate, you can actually report that email to Google, and what they will do is either 2 things. They can block that sender completely so that anything that comes through that sender will always be turned back, or they'll keep it in a spam folder. So that's 2 things. So make sure that if you do put things in a spam folder, that you do occasionally go through that spam folder and make sure something that is legitimate didn't somehow get into that spam folder. But all of our email providers usually have some kind of filter or process to report or help get some of that spam from even just hitting your inbox from the beginning. Phishing. So phishing, criminals use psychological manipulation to bait the victims into divulging login information or other sensitive information that they can use to sell for malicious purposes. Often they're asking for your personal information, social security number, account number, passwords, PIN numbers, all these things. Phishing attacks typically look authentic and usually include a social engineered messages. What that means is many recipients typically think that these emails are legitimate and they trust the individual who has sent it to them. Spear phishing is highly customizable and focuses on specific individuals or organizations. So if you're a member of an organization, somebody, a spammer, may have spammed an email address from that particular organization and is now sending spam email to that particular group of individuals. So again, just use a lot of common sense. Don't click on attachments. Don't click on links. That's where the trouble happens. So social engineering is where cyber criminals use to build trust before stealing logger credentials or your confidential information. So a computer criminal poses as a trusted individual, IT support person, human resources person, Social Security office, and engages in conversation to gain your trust in them. The attacker deceives the victim into divulging ID numbers, password numbers, and sensitive information to perform a fraudulent transaction. Many people will develop online relationships via Facebook or some of these online dating. They meet somebody online and they never see this person face to face. Maybe they're always just talking on the phone or texting. They get to know you for sometimes a year or more. I had an incident where somebody met somebody online, and then after a year of knowing this person, she lost her job. And she told this individual, I lost my job. He said, oh, I can help you out. Let me help you out. I'm going to send you a check. And all you need to do is deposit this check. And you can live off those funds for a little while. But I'm going to need some of that money back. And so so she got the check and she deposited it. She got a $59,000 check and deposited. The next day he called her and said, can you withdraw some cash and deposit it into my Bank of America account? Again, she trusts this guy. She thought they were going to get married. They had never met face to face, but she was in love with this man. She took out a lot of money by cash, went and deposited it into an account at a different bank. 2 days later, he calls her and says, okay, so I'm going to invest. We are going to invest in this startup company. Can you please wire this much money from that out into this account? She's trusting this guy, and he said, all the other money, there's $6,000. You can have the rest. That should help you. And so she did that. The next day, the check came back bad. And banks worked very hard to help her get her money back, but she did suffer a loss. And because she did these things, she's out the money, and he's gone. So that's what social engineering is. They really get your trust and their comfort. And then when they find that you are in a position that they can manipulate you, they will do it. And they use emotion, and they use threats. And she's even to this very day still talking to him. So, you know, it's a really unfortunate situation, but these things do happen. So there are some tips to avoid being a victim. Don't reveal personal or financial information in an email. Again, never provide that information in an email. If you know the individual who's calling you, call them, provide it over the phone. As soon as you write it down, it's out there for the world to see. Before sending or entering sensitive information online, check the security of the website. So at the top in your browser, there's a lock. And if you see that lock, like it's locked, that means that site is secure. If you don't see that lock, or you see that that lock is open, then that means that site is not secure. You don't want to share your information on an unsecure site. pay attention to websites and URLs. So if Comcast is sending you an email saying, go to this website and pay your bill, and instead of Comcast.net, you see electricityonline.com, you know that that's probably not correct. So pay attention to these URLs. If you're unsure whether or not the email address is legit, contact the company directly. If you want to call PayPal because there's a charge on your account that you're not familiar with, go to Google and Google PayPal. But make sure that when you do that, you are actually contacting the official site. Because the new thing that we're seeing here is that fraudsters will create fake Google ads. And so we had a customer who had a charge on her PayPal account. She went to Google PayPal. She saw an ad banner. It was an advertisement. It wasn't their official site. And the ad banner said, Google Online Services / PayPal / official site. So why would PayPal need to put / official site there? She clicked on it. It was a scam. And she lost money on it because she ended up following the scammer, and she got into some trouble with that. So you want to be sure that if you're going to go online to verify it, that you're going to the actual official site, which is typically a little bit further down on the page. And most importantly, keep a clean machine. Keep all software on internet-connected devices, including your PCs, your smartphones, and your tablets, up to date on any malicious kind of malware material that can filter out these or identify when you have some bad programs on your PC. A very common scam is that as you're working on your PC, you get a pop-up from Microsoft that says, your machine has been infected. You must call this number right away to avoid any kind of damage. You won't be able to access your information. This is typically a scam. Somehow on your PC, there's malware. And so this pop-up is coming from that scammer. And so what a lot of our customers are doing is they're calling that information, that line, and they are on the phone giving the fraudster direct access to log into their computer. And then what they do is they say, let's check to make sure this is working. Go to your bank website and make sure that you get through. So go ahead and enter user ID and password. What they're doing here is recording all your strokes. So now you've given out your user ID, your password. They are going to try to get you to do that because that's what they want you to do. And even if you do fall victim to this and you don't go to your banking website, most likely what they have already done is downloaded some keylogger malware. So they're recording everything you type on your computer. And so you could disconnect with them, but they are still there. And you could, 2 days later, decide to go to your banking website. They're recording that information. So if you do fall victim to this, oh, and one other thing, they will ask for payment through non-typical methods. Most times they will ask you to do a money wire, a MoneyGram, or who's heard this? They go and ask you to buy gift cards. Go to the Jewel-Osco, buy 6 $100 gift cards. Okay, so I go, because you think they're helping you out, and this is how you're going to pay them. You go buy these gift cards, you call them with the activation number, they've swiped out those gift cards, and they're done. So now you've given them money on top of their infecting your computer. So this does happen. So if you find that you're a victim of this, what you need to do is turn off your computer, disconnect it from any kind of Wi-Fi you have at the house or anything like that, and take it to a trusted source. There's Best Buy. We have Micro Center, Fry's. Businesses that are established that you can walk in and they can actually take your machine and look at it to make sure that there isn't any malware on there. So whatever you do, don't accept help from somebody online to just call in and get on your machine. Face-to-face is always the best thing. Okay, so what to do if you're a victim? First, please report it to the appropriate people within either your organization, to your network administrators if you're at work. If you believe your financial accounts may be compromised, contact your financial institution immediately. Even if you think maybe, maybe not, the best way is to be proactive. Contact all of your banks. Just let them know. I think I may have downloaded some malware. They can monitor your accounts, they can close your accounts, but there's a lot of things that they can do to proactively try to protect you. Watch for any unauthorized charges on your account. And most importantly, consider, I would not say consider, I'm going to urge you to report any of this to your local police department. It's important that they know that these things are happening. And I know a lot of us, when we fall victim, we feel embarrassed that how could I have let this happen to me? And we have to get over that because we need to be able to talk about it to our financial institutions, to the police department, so that not only can they maybe try to protect you, they can protect the community around you and say, this is happening, this is a new type of scam, or yes, we've seen this before. Just make sure that you talk about it. And with regards to monthly statements, I know a lot of us are weary of online accounts, online banking. I have to tell you that online banking has become extremely more and more secure over the years due to these kinds of activities. And when you have an online banking profile, you have access 24 hours to your accounts. So you can check transactions as they're coming through. You can set up alerts to come to your email or text messages. You can actually get an app on your phone, too. And they, like I said, have become more and more secure, but that gives you direct access on a daily basis, whereas if something were to hit your account, you could proactively get to that information. Because there are federal regulations out there, it's called Regulation E, that governs how financial institutions handle disputed investigations. There are specific timelines that have to be followed in regards to provisional credits, notifications, and resolutions. So don't delay reporting your transactions. Check your monthly statements and monitor daily activity online or through your telephone banking. Okay, you're going to see this tip screen a lot in this presentation. It's called Stop, Think, and Connect. So make sure one of the most important things in here is your passwords. You want to be sure that your passwords are sensitive and strong. So some require letters and numbers. Some people like to use a combination of maybe my dad's initials, my mom's birth date, and my brother's wedding date, something like that. Something that you can piece together that you can remember, but that a fraudster can't necessarily try. If you're using words, you can substitute an A for an @ sign, an O for 0, or if you're putting an I in a password, use the number 1. So there's things that you can do to make your passwords strong. Typically, a strong password is between 8 and 32 characters. Make sure you lock down your logins. Most websites are using one-time security features, so you'll go, like a lot of online banking, you'll enter your online banking, and they will require to send you a one-time password to your cell phone so that it's an added layer of protection. And just so that you know, companies are taking cybersecurity very seriously. So entire departments are being formed at companies to address this kind of activity that's happening. And I know myself and Cathy at the bank, we go through annual training to make sure that we are aware of how we need to be not only protecting us, but protecting our customers with regards to spam and malicious emails. So these are some additional resources. This information is not only in your PowerPoint spreadsheet, but again, it's in your packet too. Okay, who has bought something online? Right. Online shopping, online banking, where online shopping has been very convenient. You have great deals, endless catalog of items, and hey, next day delivery. With the increased availability of online shopping convenience, it also makes it more lucrative for scammers to trick buyers into paying for goods that they don't receive or being tricked into reoccurring payments for items they do not need. Again, stop, think, connect. So some online shopping tips is to conduct research. Read reviews and pay attention to what others have had to say about their experiences. Facebook is a really good example of this. So there's lots of ads to buy things on Facebook. And then if you click on comments, there's hundreds upon thousands of comments. And you can learn a lot about that item that somebody's trying to sell by those comments on Facebook. You know, this wonderful anti-aging cream that is so great. And all you need to do is pay for shipping and handling, and it's yours. And then when we look down a little bit further, the scammer actually ends up charging you for that full product because in the small print it said, only pay for shipping and handling, but if you don't return the product in 15 days, we're going to charge you for the full amount and we're going to put you on a monthly payment, right? So make sure that you're reading those comments. If it's too good to be true, typically it's just that. Payment options. Credit cards are typically your best method of payment. It doesn't come directly out of your checking account like a debit card does. There's a block there. So, you know, some people will actually have a credit card just for online shopping. Again, don't be disappointed. Read return policies and make sure that when you click something, I have read and understood, that you have read and understood. If you come to the bank and say, I need to dispute this. I got this cream, it's terrible. But they are starting to charge me now every month, and I was only told I was going to pay for the shipping. Well, when the bank goes back to that company and they screenshot everything that you do, and you click to say, agreed, I read and understood, I've read and understood, I've read and understood, it's back on the consumer. So make sure that you are, whenever you click on something that you read and understood, that you know you're getting into. Some people use separate email addresses for their online banking just to separate that. I have a separate email address that just for whenever I have to, you know, log on to online shopping and they ask for an email address, I give them this email address. And then a lot of people use a different bank account. So they'll open a separate bank account for this kind of activity, and they'll keep minimal balances in there. So if you have your main bank account and you have a couple of $1,000s in there and you do this online shopping and it comes out to be fraud, they may have access to that money. So maybe create a smaller account, put it to the side, and keep a small balance in there. So shopping on the go. If your mobile device has Wi-Fi or Bluetooth turned on while shopping, many stores can utilize that to track your movement. So if you are shopping and you don't need access to Wi-Fi or you don't need to have your Bluetooth, disable it, because as you're walking through, they are actually watching what you're doing, okay? And where fraud actually, the criminals actually get into is, let's say you're at Starbucks and you have decided to log on to their public Wi-Fi. That person that could be sitting maybe in the corner of Starbucks may have access to get into your computer without you even knowing about it. And let's say you're at Starbucks and you decide to check your bank account. Now that information is out there. So maybe consider turning that information off while you're at Starbucks or not at home, or consider not going to your banking accounts when using public Wi-Fi. Do it at home, or a lot of people can do secure hotspots on their phone. So consider just avoiding using those. If you're at Starbucks and you need to check your balance, like a lot of us do, so that I know I can pay for this coffee, banks have apps that you can download onto your phone. That's different. When you have an app, it's much more secure. It's when you're going to the internet browser and you're keying in that information where that information can get compromised. So older adults are prime targets for financial exploitation, both by people they know and trust and by strangers. I have seen elders who've lost their life savings usually and have little to no opportunity to regain what they may have lost. Elder financial abuse can result in the loss of the ability to live independently, a decline in health through stress, broken trust, and fractured families. So awareness and prevention is key. Reporting early intervention that results in prevention is imperative. So if you feel like somebody is taking advantage of you, tell somebody you trust. Tell your bank, because again, early detection is your key to avoid loss prevention. Once again, stop, think, and connect. So again, let's go back to the passwords. We all have to remember a lot of passwords. If you write your passwords down, make sure you keep them in a place that's safe and secure and away from your computer. So if you have a desk and your computer's on your desk, don't think about putting your passwords in your desk. Put it maybe in your closet, okay? Somewhere that's away from that computer. Don't keep passwords and user IDs and common websites in your purse or your wallet. If your purse or wallet is stolen, that information is gone as well. And lock your devices, iPads, phones, computers. Make sure that they either go to sleep or you're turning them off. Another thing I want to mention is, let's say you go to the library, because a lot of us use the library and we go to use their computers there. So when you're at the library and you've decided that I need to really check my online banking, make sure you disconnect all the way through that and that you don't leave any windows open. Because again, you step up from that PC, somebody else steps down next to it, and if they have a window open, they may be able to get that information. Again, I highly recommend, if you're going to be somewhere out in public and need to check your account balances, call the bank or use an app. Don't pull up a website on a computer that you're not comfortable with or familiar with. Again, these are some free online security checkups and tools. This is all in your packet as well. If you believe that you are the victim of an internet crime or you're aware of an internet crime, you can file a complaint with the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. Again, information's in your packet. Okay, telephone and internet scams. This is something that I know we have all had a part in. This isn't limited to older adults. We are all vulnerable. Scam artists use lies, deception, and fear tactics to convince our victims to send them money or provide personal information. We all know about the Do Not Call registry. And the Do Not Call registry may reduce calls from illegitimate businesses, but it will not stop criminal telemarketers from calling. The Do Not Call registry accepts registrations from both cell phones and landlines, but you have to register your numbers. Each method will require a confirmation. I've provided you in your packet with the phone numbers and the websites to the Do Not Call registry. The first point is, if you get a phone call from a number you do not recognize, you do not have to answer it. If it is important, that caller is going to call you back or leave a message. Most times when you don't recognize that phone number and they do leave a message, it's a robocall. So if you don't recognize the number, just don't answer it. However, if you do happen to answer a phone call and you find that you're engaged in conversation with somebody who's maybe doing a survey or something like that, you want to avoid using the yes answer, okay? So when they ask you questions, what they're trying to do is report or record you saying the word yes, because that affirmation they can use as to maybe sign you up for products that you don't have a use for. That yes, they're recording that. So let's say somebody asks you a question. Reply with affirming statements. Is this Andrea Pokrefke? This is Andrea Pokrefke. Do you live at 123 Home Street? I do live at 123 Home Street. Do you have a dog named Kendra? I love my dog Kendra. I'm not saying yes. I'm just affirming and almost repeating what they're saying, right? And if you get into this conversation and you realize, wow, why am I having this conversation with this person? Why are they calling me? Say, you know what, thanks a lot for calling, and just hang up. Most likely they're not going to call you back. If they do call you back, don't answer the number, okay? So the IRS telephone scam is a big scam that we have, probably most of us in this room have experienced. According to the IRS, this telephone scam, a scammer calls telling the consumer that he or she must immediately pay taxes that they are owed. In some cases, they're told that if they don't pay the tax bill or otherwise follow instructions, they are going to face serious consequences. Callers are frequently insulted. They're hostile to scare their potential victims. They tell potential victims they're entitled to either big refunds or that they owe so much money that they must be paid immediately to the IRS. When unsuccessful, they'll try and call back. They may even spoof the IRS toll-free number on the caller ID to make it appear that it is from the IRS. They'll use common names and surnames to identify themselves, fake IRS badge numbers. They may already know the last 4 of your social security number. This is social engineering. They're trying to convince you that they're legitimate. They send bogus emails from fraudulent IRS websites. They create background noise to make it seem like this is a call center. They threaten jail time or revocation of your driver's license. They may even hang up and call back, pretending to be from the local police or the DMV, saying that they are going to arrest you or revoke your driver's license. This is a scam, okay? The IRS has warned that this kind of scam continues year-round. Remember, the IRS will always send taxpayer a written notification of any taxes due via the US mail. They never ask for your credit card information, your debit card information, or any prepaid card information over the telephone. And the IRS does not initiate contact to their people through email, text, or through social media to request personal information. So you'll get something from the IRS in the mail. Phone calls, they're bogus. Just hang up. So if you do get a phone call from someone claiming to be from the IRS, here's what you can do. First, if you think or know you owe taxes, call the IRS directly. And this number, again, is going to be in your packet. The IRS employee at that time can help you with payment issues, if there really is such an issue. If you know you don't owe taxes, or you have no reason to think you may owe taxes, or if you think the party who called you is not really with the IRS, please call and report the incident to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. They need to know when these things are happening. They also need to know because potentially what you're experiencing could be a new method. And so if we continue to let the government know that these things are coming through, they can then alert us and get the news out to everybody else. If you get an email from somebody claiming to be from the IRS, don't click on any links, don't download any attachments. Instead, forward the email to phishing@irs.gov. Okay. This is a little bit new. This is Social Security. Social Security Administration is warning the public that to be aware of fraud scams that target your personal information. In the most recent scan, identity thieves obtain your personal information off the Social Security beneficiaries, and they use that information to attempt to open a counterfeit My Social Security online account. Who here has a My Social Security online account? Yes. So when that is successful and they're able to do that, they then redirect the beneficiary's payment to wherever they want it to go. So the Social Security Administration is telling us, please don't discourage opening a My Social Security profile, because if you open your own My Social Security profile, that prevents somebody else from registering one on their own. So be proactive with that. You put that profile out there. Social Security has worked with identifying you to make sure you're the right person. So if somebody else tries to open their own profile under your name and you already exist, they're not able to do so. So if you receive information from Social Security indicating that you have opened a My Social Security account and you did not open that account, contact Social Security Administration right away so that they can take action to disable that account and make sure that your benefits aren't taken advantage of. So I've already spoken with somebody who has had this kind of scam happen to them. This is the grandparent scam. And it doesn't always have to be the grandparent scam. It can be parents too. It can be friends. But you get a phone call and you say, hey, Grandpa, it's Andrea. I'm in so much trouble. I've been arrested, and I need you to wire $2,000 so that I can get out of jail. But oh my gosh, you know how mad Mom's going to be. Please don't tell her. So scammers know that older adults may have experienced a little bit of hearing loss. It's true. They also know that if the situation sounds stressful enough, that the older adult may attribute differences that they hear in that conversation to the stress of the situation. Scammers use emotion. They use panic to make victims make very quick, often rash, and the wrong decisions. So the first thing is to just stay calm and really listen to the caller, the name that they're using. So Alexandria. Hi, Grandma, it's Alexandria, and I'm in so much trouble. Well, she never calls me Grandma, I'm Granny. And what's this Alexandria? Her name's Andrea. You know, certain things like that. How they address you, how they refer to themselves, how they refer to their mom or their dad. These are all keys. You know, looking at the phone number that it's calling from. It could be my phone number that's on there, but somebody could have spoofed my phone number. So, Andrea, I'm really, really sorry you're in this. Let me call you right back. Click, hang up the phone, and then call the number on your phone back, because they're spoofing the number coming in, but not the number going out. So you can call and say, hey, Andrea, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in bed. I haven't even gotten up today yet. No, I'm not in jail. Or you know, when the caller says, please don't call Mom, maybe the best thing to do is to call Mom. Because, you know, if anybody knows, maybe they might know that, no, she's upstairs. She hasn't left the house yet, you know. So there's certain things that you should do, but most importantly, sometimes what they tell you not to do is what you should do. So we have lottery and sweepstakes scams as well. So sweepstakes scammers may call, email, or text consumers congratulating on winning a lottery, a drawing, or a sweepstakes in which consumers usually have not even entered. The scammer asks the winner for an upfront payment to cover processing fees or taxes. In another variation, the scammer sends a letter with which is authentic looking, but phony claim certificates or a check as an advance to pay the winnings. Typically with that check comes a letter of instruction. All you have to do is deposit this check and then send us back the processing fee. So here's a $2,000 check. Send us back $1,000 to process. You can keep the second round. When you get checks like that and your letters, bring them to the bank so that we can see them, because banks these days are usually we can sense or see a lot of these scams as they're coming through. Typically, when somebody is giving you money and saying all you have to do is give me this money, but you have this much time to do it, they're hoping that you are taking that money out before that check comes back bad. So if you come into the bank with that check, what we might be able to do is put a hold on it. We're going to hold on that check and we're going to tell you, you know, deposit it. Don't do anything with it. And then 6 days later, by that time, that check has come back bad. So banks are really starting to recognize when things are happening. However, If you do deposit a phony check and you follow those instructions, know that the bank might hold you responsible for any of those losses. So there's another type of scam. It's called the sweepstakes recovery scam. So once it's apparent that there's no winnings forthcoming, the victim will actually receive yet another call from a person claiming to be an attorney representing the people that didn't get their money. So in exchange for an upfront attorney fee, the attorney offers to collect the winnings on behalf of the victim. Needless to say, the winnings never come through, and you are out that attorney fee. So how to avoid these telephone scams? You cannot usually win a contest unless you enter it. It's common sense. But most importantly, never pay to play. And that's with that check. Here, I'm going to give you a check. Just pay me back this. You can keep the rest. Never pay to play. Be very suspicious of pressure to wire funds or to withdraw cash. Pay attention to warnings from your financial institution. If they warn you and they say, this doesn't look right, pay attention to that because they see this stuff often. If the caller claims an emergency, check it out on a number you know to be valid. If they're calling from the Elmhurst Police Department, click, I'm going to call the Elmhurst Police Department. It's to protect you. And be very wary of requests for secrecy. Please don't tell mom, or a lot of these callers will say, if you tell anybody, something's going to happen to you. These threatening voicemail messages, hang up, call your police department. Let them know that these things are happening. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is identity theft, because this happens a lot. So identity theft occurs when thieves steal your personal information, your social security number, your birth date, credit card numbers, personal identification numbers or passwords. With sufficient information, another person can use your identity to commit fraud or other crimes. So first thing, protect your social security number, protect your credit card numbers, PIN numbers, passwords, all other personal information. Again, never provide this information in response to an unwanted email or call, fax, letter, no matter how friendly or official they appear. When you're out and about, carry only the identification you really need: checks, credit card, or a debit card, and your driver's license. If you're going to Kohl's this afternoon, take your Kohl's card, your credit card if maybe you're going to need it, and your driver's license. Leave all your other store cards at home. Leave all your other credit cards at home. You know, these things you don't need to have on you at all times. So if your purse does get stolen or your wallet gets lifted, we don't have to go through and call all the different credit card companies and everything that's out there, okay? Don't keep your social security number in your wallet either. When you get checks from a bank, don't have them pre-print your social security number, your driver's license, any of that information on your checks. If you are going to a bank or doing cash or something like that, banks are most likely going to always ask for your driver's license unless they know you very well. So when asked for a driver's license, sometimes we get a little upset. You guys should know me. Why do I have to provide my driver's license? It's to protect you. It's to protect the bank, okay? So when they are writing that information on your check, ask them, do you really need to write the full driver's license number? Do you need to write all that information there? Is it absolutely necessary? In some instances it is, and others maybe not. And remember, unless you're applying for credit or opening a bank account, you do not have to give merchants your social security number. If requested, ask the merchant, is there any other form of identification that you can use other than my social security? So again, unless you're applying for credit, you're doing a loan, or opening a bank account, you do not need to give them your social security number. So if you are a victim, you can request a free credit report every 4 months from a different agency every time. Maybe consider a credit freeze. I believe in Illinois there's a free service to persons age 65 and older, or is it free now for everybody? Do you know? Okay, so there's a $10 charge to remove the freeze. But you can also lock your credit and your debit cards that aren't used on a regular basis. So the FTC has many resources available to help you. You can call the FTC's Identity Theft Hotline or visit ftc.gov/ID theft. In your brochure, I've provided you with a brochure called Identity Theft, What to Know, What to Do. Also, a brochure called Taking Charge, What to Do if Your Identity is Stolen. But you can also get sample letters from identitytheft.gov that will help you if you do have unauthorized charges or anything that you need to get credits for. And again, that ends my presentation. So I thank all of you for coming out and in this lovely weather, and Cathy for having me out here.
Let's give Andrea a round of applause. Thank you so much for all of that, information. I need to let you know, I get phone calls all the time. One from ComEd that always says you're due to get a refund. I get that about once a week. The other is, I get this call that always says, you've ordered this. When do you want us to deliver it? And I just hang up on them. I mean, it's just constant. So just beware that everybody's out there to get the little bit of money that we have. What I'd like to do is take a very, very short break because Tom Trosien is here and he's going to share a little bit about Ride DuPage. It's going to be a very short presentation, but a very important presentation because it's about a quality transportation program that you will be able to use. So you are going to stop for just about 5 minutes. I ask that you have some coffee, have another donut, but stay for the important information about our new transportation system. Thank you. Welcome for our second half of our presentation. This is about Ride DuPage. It's a quality transportation program that's going to be starting in Elmhurst, and it's currently happening. And I'm going to be introducing you to Tom Trosien. He's from the city of Elmhurst, from the finance department, who's going to be giving you a little bit of history, but also telling you how you can sign up for this quality program. Before that, I just want to let you know our commission has been advocating for this program since 2008. So I just want to let you know we're thrilled that it's already happening here in Elmhurst. So without further ado, Tom Trosien.
Thanks, Cathy. Again, my name's Tom Trosien. I'm with the City of Elmhurst in the Finance Department. I've been with the city about 27 years. So when Cathy mentioned 2008, I was definitely here at that time. We did get the program basically all the way to City Council. It got approved, but if everybody remembers what happened in 2009 with the economic downturn, the program was never implemented, even though the council had approved it at that time. So again, back in beginning of 2018, Senior Commission approached us again, taking a look at the program. At the same time, we were actually experiencing a lot of difficulty with our current program. We couldn't get taxi drivers registered, no one was interested, terrible service, so we knew we needed to do something. So the timing was perfect. And again, our current program is the Ride DuPage program through the county and PACE. Just a little bit of history on our previous program. The city had its own program only within the city limits. It was subsidized quite a bit, where a one-way ride was only $1.40 at that time. Again, but the service was terrible. We also had offered the DuPage Pilot 2 program, which was the coupon-based program. You'd buy a coupon of $5, you would pay half the price. $2.50. You could actually use that program outside the city limits throughout DuPage County. Ours, again, was only city limits. So again, the Ride DuPage transportation program coordination between numerous groups, and again, just available for residents of Elmhurst. Going through committee and stuff and a lot of the discussion, some of the advantages of the program over our previous program, again, Ride DuPage offers minibuses, wheelchair accessible, curb-to-curb service. Again, greater range. You can actually go outside DuPage County. The only limitation we have is you can't go to the airports. That's really the only limit. One-time registration. Again, out on the back table, I have copies here, registration form. You need to fill that out, provide that to the city clerk's office. They'll submit it. You know, they say 7 days, but usually within 2 days, you're up and running. One thing I guess I forgot to ask, has anybody used the new program? Nobody's used it, okay. You have used it? Once. Hopefully it worked out well. Right. Yeah, I'll touch on that. I know we've heard some comments on the return. PACE approves all the drivers. You know, they do a great vetting process of all the cabs, companies, the drivers and everything. Central call station, live person that answers. So you're going to call, you're not calling the cab companies, you're calling a call center to schedule your ride. And the total cost is provided at the time you call as far as where you're going to go. Some of the service information, again, available 65 and older, and people with disabilities, able to travel anywhere, really. I did see a ride that they did go to Chicago for medical purposes and stuff. So again, it's not limited to the city or the county. Only exclusion is the airport. Really, service 7 days a week. You really need to call in advance, at least 24 hours in advance, hopefully 7 days in advance maximum, but within a day at least to call the schedule. They do allow subscription rides, so if you are going to a place more than twice a week, same place, same time, you can call and get a subscription set up so you don't have to call every time, which is convenient. As far as cancellation goes, really need to call within 30 minutes. They do track. You may be charged $10 if you don't call within 30 minutes or don't call at all, where the resident is a no-show. They will track it. If that happens over 3 times, you may be suspended from the program. One of the things that they do require right now, we've asked if they would take a look at it. They said they would, but all the rides are paid through cash, so no credit cards are allowed at this time. Cost $2 once you just get into the cab or the van for a pull, for a flagpole, and then $1 per mile. And again, they will tell you up front how much your ride will cost. First companion is free. Just let them know. And you can actually do group rides and stuff. So the rider would pay the $2. The first rider would pay the $2 plus $1 a mile. Next person is free. And then all other rides would be $1.50 flat fee. So if you wanted to get a group together and go someplace, you can do that for fairly inexpensive. Here's just a shot from the Ride DuPage program website. You can see some of the other agencies using it. Addison Township has been using this program for a while, so all residents that are north of North Avenue have had this program available for a while. York Township has their own program. You can check it on their website. It's limited. It is a little cheaper, but it's limited service. And you can see the other agencies that are using it. I'm not sure how many people, should I use this one? You're good. I'm not sure how many people have internet access, but if you go to our website under the city clerk's area, you'll see the transportation program. You can get the brochure, the form to fill out, and some additional information. I think that's all I have really right now. Again, the brochure, everything I just said is included in the brochure. If you have any questions, call the administration office at 630-530-3010 or 3011, and they can help you out with the process.
Okay, let's give a round of applause for Tom. Thank you, Tom, for your information. Thank you all for coming today, and I always end with a quote. So I have my reading glasses on, I can't see. I've learned people will forget what you've said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. I hope today we've made you feel important, informed, and more knowledgeable. Thank you so much for coming to Community Conversations.
Have you heard of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation? Its purpose is to provide support through advocacy, education, and fundraising for the Elmhurst History Museum, our local Elmhurst history, and the Churchville one-room schoolhouse. Established in 2007 as a nonprofit organization, we initiated an endowment fund and raised funds to complete the renovation of the historic Churchville schoolhouse. We conducted a capital campaign to develop the new exhibit, by all accounts, the story of Elmhurst, at the History Museum, and we continue to provide financial support to enhance exhibits, programs, and events at the museum. Yes, we feel strongly about our mission and encourage you to become a member or donor of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation. Please call or go to our website for more information to learn about the benefits of becoming a member or donor by investing in our town, our history, our heritage.
I'm John Quigley, President and CEO of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. For 100 years and counting, we've promoted an environment that creates success for local businesses and our community. Nearly 600 members strong, we are the voice of business in Elmhurst at all levels of government and a liaison to our residents, consumers, and tourists.
Since 1982.
1981.
1993.
1948.
Since 1955.
1892.
1991.
Since 1986.
1871. We're here to help our customers' lives go right. We put our customers and community first. And innovation in relocation for 2 generations.
Serving our community more than just great meals.
We create innovation in glass and metals.
We permanently solve your IRS problems.
4 generations of family dedication, forever invested in you.
We keep families rolling safely down the road.
For generations, we've helped students reach their full potential.
4 generations of serving the best Bohemian cuisine.
Make that 5.
So make today the day that you become a valued addition to our award-winning chamber, whether as a new member or via reactivation. Contact our office by phone at 630-834-6060 or email info@elmhurstchamber.org to learn about what's in it for you. Be a part of our next 100 years.